A very good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for this departure press conference with Proteas Captain Temba Bavuma. As usual, I'd like to remind everyone to please ensure that you put your request to ask a question on the chat panel, and we'll take it from there. Please remember to keep your monitors muted, and also please just ensure that we ask one question at a time, and then we'll take it from there. Thank you, Fidos. We'll start with you.
Thanks, Sipakazi. Morning, Temba. Temba, I'm just wondering if you could give us an update on your progress after your injury and, whether you're batting again and just how you're shaping up ahead of the tournament.
Morning, Fidos. In terms of my thumb, so I actually started batting a bit yesterday. I guess just to feel it out. According to the doctor, according to the medical team, everything is still on schedule. Yeah, I'm quite happy with where it's at. It's obviously not 100% at the moment, so we'll be building it up, but everyone is happy with the progress thus far.
Thanks, Fidos. Would anybody like to go? Please indicate on the chat panel. It's going to be a very light press conference. Thanks, Fidos. You can go again.
Sorry, Temba, just in terms of the squad as a whole, I mean, some of your guys are at the IPL, but I know you've been in a training camp. What things have you been able to work on, and how much time will you have as a squad once you meet up with the IPL guys?
Yeah, so we've just finished off our camp here in Durban. I guess this camp was more about, the guys brushing up their cobwebs over the break that they've had since Sri Lanka, and us just refreshing and reminding ourselves of the things that we've done well, the type of things the challenges that we'll face in Dubai in those conditions, and making sure we're as prepared as we can. Obviously, it wasn't the full group, like you said, there's guys in the IPL. And we're banking on those guys to bring back some good intel for us in terms of what to expect over there. I know when we get there, we have a six-day quarantine or so, and then after we'll be able to train, I think, as a team, and that's probably where we'll get the bulk of our work done.
Zahir?
How's Temba? Good to see you batting in the nets yesterday. Just on getting to the camp with the boys after Sri Lanka, obviously it was a 3-0 win there, and there was quite a different way they went about things in terms of the three spinners. And have you had chats with Kesh and how it's, just how it was the mindset in approaching with three spinners and very un-South African like? Is that something that we can expect in the World Cup, where obviously spin's going to play a role, but just in terms of three spinners, I mean, have you had conversations about that with Kesh?
Morning, Zahir. Yeah, those are conversations that we've had as a team, in that if the conditions do allow us, if the conditions do dictate that we use our slow bowlers, we'll definitely do so. Like you say, in Sri Lanka, we were able to do so successfully. And I mean, if the opportunity is there in Dubai, like I said, if the conditions dictate so, I see no reason as to why we can't employ the same tactics.
Temba, just to follow up on that, if you looked at the scores in the IPL, particularly in Sharjah as well, it's quite low. Is that how you expect it to be, or do you think the wickets will get better for the World Cup?
I find it hard to see how the wickets would get better, to be honest. With so much traffic happening on those pitches, I don't think there'll be much time for them to really prepare those wickets. So, as batters, we're gonna have. We can expect to have a tough time as batters. But yeah, to be honest, I don't expect the wickets to get much better.
Telford?
Morning, Temba. I'm just wondering, when you guys watch the Springboks and you see a great team, coming back from poor positions and those kinds of things, and they've been more successful than probably most sporting teams in the world. And I'm sure you take inspiration from that, but do you ever wonder, for goodness sake, why can't we be as successful as them at tournament time?
I think, yeah, there's a lot of inspiration that you can draw from the Springboks. As much as they're how they performed in the championship didn't go according to how they would have wanted. But you always had that sense of belief that they could win at any time. That fight that they have, more than resilience, that they showed over the years, and something that I guess all sportsmen here in South Africa we admire. As the Proteas, we know we bank on our resilience, but we know people back home want us to do it on the big stage in the pressure moments. Yeah.
Just to remind everyone to please ask one question at a time, and then we'll circle back. Up next is Disetso, followed by Shoni.
Thank you very much. Good morning to everybody. Morning, Temba. Temba, just looking at the World Cup opponents and the match venues, I mean, what would you say about the team's chances of getting out of the pool and the team's chances in the tournament overall? Thank you.
Morning to set. So I don't think you'd like me much if I said I don't bank on our chances to get out of the group stages. It's obviously a tough group that we're in, but I don't think we'd want it any differently. The teams that we're coming up against, we've played against them. Some of them we've had good success of them of late. So I mean, it will be drawing on those good experiences. I think the biggest thing for us as a team, which we pride ourselves on, is preparing as well as we can, being tactically astute, and ensuring that on the day we execute our game plans. So as tough as group as it may seem, we back ourselves, we back our chances. I know a lot of people out there don't, but we back our chances.
Shoni, followed by Tower FM.
Thanks, Sipagazi. Morning, colleagues. Morning, Temba. How much pressure is there in terms of a T20 World Cup? Is there more pressure? Is there less pressure? Is there any pressure when you compare T20 to the 50-over format?
I think the pressure is always there, Morning. I think the pressure is always there. It's my first World Cup or world event, so I mean, this is the only experience I have, and I can't compare it to anything else. But I think the pressure is always there. People, as a team, we expect ourselves to do well, and I guess that's where the pressure comes from.
Tower FM, please identify yourself.
Good morning. Sorry about that, Spugazi. It's Vuyo from Power 987. Good morning, Temba. Apologies, just to circle back to this question, just to maybe give us an update in terms of just the mental stability of the team since the departure of Coach Enoch. I'm sure by now, with the days having gone by and weeks have gone by, things have become more stable. Just an update on the stability of the team since that departure at this point.
Morning, Vuyo. In terms of where the team, I think the team is in a good space, to be honest with you. As much as things have happened the way that they've happened, life still has to go. Life still has to go on. As a team, we've had certain conversations that have cleared up certain aspects, and I think the team is in a good space. I think you would have seen our performances in Sri Lanka in the T20, and that nothing inhibited us there. The team is in a good space.
Would anyone like to circle back for a question? Shoni, go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Sipagazi. I think this might be a bit of a follow-up from what Telford asked, but given the wins over Sri Lanka and the West Indies, what do you need to do to turn that sort of building up to a tournament form into success at an event that has not happened in the past?
I think for us, it's just to try to do more of the same. Like I've always said, as a team, we pride ourselves on how well we prepare and making sure we put our team performances out there. We don't rely on individual performances or individuals to get us over the line. It's really about a team effort. So I think going into this event, like I said, it will be doing more of the same. Just making sure we take care of all the small things and our basics.
The last three questions will go back to, actually, let's start with Ongama, seeing as he hasn't had a question, and then we'll go to Vuyo, and then we'll close with Telford. Ongama?
Good morning, Temba. Good morning. It's your first World Cup. What this tournament means for you, it goes on in the player's mind when you're going into a World Cup for the first time. Knowing that like it's you, Riza, and a lot of other guys going into the World Cup for the first time. Can you talk us through that, please?
Thanks, Ongama. Yeah, it is my first world event. And I guess, I mean, for me, looking at the position that I'm in, you kind of acknowledge the responsibility, leaving the South African shores, and knowing what you're responsible for. And I think also kind of the thinking of when you come back to South Africa, things could be different, your life could be different. I think from a team point of view, I guess it's more excitement. It's more the anxiety of experiencing something that you haven't come across. But I think it's more excitement at the moment. I think our first game is only on the 23rd, so I think there's quite a lot of time. There's quite a lot of energy until that time. Yeah.
Thanks again, Pogazi. I think I'm just jumping on Tiseto's question, if I remember, just on preparations. If I remember correctly, you can correct me, Temba, there's two more teams that I think after the qualifiers, they will still join the group. In terms of your preparations, you already know the first three, but how hard is it having to sort of try and prepare for sort of an unknown in terms of the other two teams that will still need to join the group? Or is the focus just on the ones that you already know at this point?
Yeah, I think it's your last point there. I mean, it's very hard for us to prepare for an opponent that we don't know. So the ones that we know, we'll be preparing as well as we can against them. Make sure we get over the line against them, and then as soon as we know who the other opponents are, we'll prepare accordingly. I think the conditions will probably be the biggest dictator at the moment. Seeing how the pitches are playing, seeing how different it is playing during the day, playing at night. Yeah.
Telford, Disetso, and then we absolutely have to close with Zaire. So no more questions, guys, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Wakazi. Tim, I'm just interested to know, when you were injured and the team were playing, I'm sure it was very frustrating for you not to be able to be out there, but what was your process? Well, I'm sure you watched. What is your process? You sit there with a notebook taking notes. I mean, how did you handle that, and what did you do while you had to simply sit there and watch?
Yeah, it was frustrating being on the side. I think as much as I was on the side, I was actually quite engaged with the team, having conversations with the coach, having conversations with Keshav, just to get to their thinking, their understanding, sharing my own ideas. But yeah, I was more involved than I normally would when I was on the side. And obviously, I was quite pleased with the guys went about their business. I think it wasn't so much the victories, but just the way they went about it. We were super clinical with the bat, and then with the ball, we were very, very ruthless. Yeah.
Thank you. Now be sort of a follow-up to Ongama's question. I mean, it's not just your first World Cup, you and the other guys. It's also your first World Cup as captain of the team. I mean, geez, that is special. I mean, have it sunk in? I mean, what are your feelings right now having to lead the team in a World Cup as a black man from Langa?
Look, man, like I said, as a player, first of all, it's an exciting prospect. I think you guys have heard me enough in my engagement with you, is that I don't harp a lot on being a black African in that aspect. But I mean, it is quite significant from all angles. You know, you talk about extra pressure, thinking about it now, it kind of adds onto the pressure that is already there. But it's also a privilege that I believe I'm blessed to have. Yeah, I mean, if the opportunity is there, you know, if the team plays accordingly, you know, we'd like to do something special for the country. Yeah.
Zahir.
Temba, just it's also a follow up on a little bit to do with Talford's question about the Springboks. We know you spent time at the Sharks, and you rock nations mates with Sia. You know, just how does that? Have you had chats with him about, you know, just handling off the field pressures of a World Cup? You know, dealing with everything around the World Cup and what you know, what it takes to inspire a nation.
I haven't chatted to him of late. Sia, he's obviously been busy on the other side of the world. I'll probably touch base with him over the next couple of days when things have kind of settled, especially on his side. I think sometimes I don't know, it's sometimes a bit better when you don't know what to expect. I guess you allow yourself to rely on hope. Or faith, whatever you want to call it. I think I don't want to play it too much in my head. I believe I've done all I can to hold myself in the coming moments. I really don't think that I should be trying on new things or trying to bring out a different Temba or different version of myself. So yeah, as I've always done, especially of late, is just to take things day by day and, you know, kind of trust that things will look after themselves if I do the right things.
Thanks very much, everybody, for joining us today. I'll send this out as soon as possible. All the very best for the rest of the day, and have a fantastic remainder of your weekend. I'll send out a media schedule, not tomorrow, but on Tuesday. Have a fantastic day.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck over there.
Thanks, everyone.